Hello, and welcome to another episode of the PintSizeAnalyze podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing the Mariners' 7-5 win and subsequent overtaking of, or tying, I guess, of first place in the AL West. They now are tied in the American League West. It is the latest in the season that they have led the American League West, as you can see right here, since August of 2002, I believe. So it's been over 21 years since the Mariners led the AL West this late into the season. And then on the wild card front, well, they're tied for the division lead, and then they are also tied for the second wild card with Texas, as well as they're tied for the division lead. Texas has lost 8 games in a row. They lost 10-1 tonight against the Minnesota Twins, and the Mariners were able to capitalize on that by winning 7-5 against the Royals, and ultimately overtaking the division lead, or ultimately tying the division lead. In today's game, the Mariners got off to a hot start in the bottom of the first. JP hit a home run on his first pitch that he saw, 108, 432. It was a no-doubter. It was crushed. And then Cal Raleigh hit a single. And then in the top of the second, MJ Melendez doubled, and then he doubled, and then they scored a few more. They scored 3 runs, and then the Mariners retook the lead in the bottom of the fourth They had a 4-3 lead, and then added 2 more runs in the bottom of the fifth, and then the Royals scored 2 runs in the top of the seventh. At that point, it was a 6-5 game. Mariners luckily were able to score an insurance run in the bottom of the eighth, and then Andres Munoz shut it down in the top of the ninth with what was a shaky outing, but he ultimately, with kind of some unlucky, softly hit balls, relatively, but he was able to shut it down, and the Mariners were able to get the win, and it was a really, really exciting night. So let's go through Statcast right now for today's game. The top exit velocities. Teoscar Hernandez hit a double. He's continued hitting very, very well. He has a 903 OPS this month. If we go right here, he had a double today, and like I said, he has a 903 OPS plus this month. And then JP hit the home run. Drew Waters hit a double. That was 107. And then he had a flyout that was 106. Both of those were barreled, though. Neither home runs in any parks. Kyle Isbell hit a home run that was a no-doubter. Eugenio Suarez had a double, which was a barrel. Mike Ford had a flyout. I was not aware that was a barrel, though. And then Bobby Witt had a triple. That was a barrel. Nelson Velasquez had a flyout. That was a barrel. And then Rojas had a flyout. That was a barrel. And then Rojas also had a foul ball that just missed the right field foul pole by a few feet. A few inches, even, they were saying on the Apple TV broadcast, although I wasn't sure how accurate that actually was because they didn't really give a great replay. But either way, he was really close. And Rojas has continued to have some really solid at-bats. I believe he went hitless today, but he's been a really, really exciting addition. And then Canzone also went 2 for 4 as well. Canzone has been just really, really exciting. Since coming over to the Mariners, I believe he has a 103 WRC plus, which isn't amazing, but it's exciting. And then if we go to partial seasons right here, and again, this is not with today's 2 hits being included in it, but he has a 98 WRC plus as a Mariner so far. But if you factor in those 2 singles that he hit tonight and going 2 for 4, then he actually has a 103 WRC plus as a Mariner, and Josh Rojas has a 114 WRC plus. So they've both been, Rojas has been the more significantly above league average bat, but for both of them to still provide solid ABs and, depth, and like with Canzone, he's still a young player, just is a rookie this year, so it's a work in progress, and him having a 103 WRC plus, I don't believe that's Canzone's ceiling by any means. I believe that he absolutely has the opportunity to continue to get better and better and better. In terms of down the rest of the box score, JP went 3 for 4 tonight with a walk as well. So he, if we go to Crawford, and I believe he has reached his season high for WRC plus after tonight's game. and it's not showing the live stats. There we go. Yeah, so I believe his highest WRC plus so far this season was 129, although I'm not completely sure. And after this game, we can see right there it's 130, which means that he's 30% better than league average. So that's exciting. He was on base 4 times today, like I said, with the walk as well. He had a 2 singles and then the home run, like I said, on the first pitch at the bottom of the first, and then Julio also had 2 infield hits, and one of those was it was 104 off the bat, and it was kind of a situation where I think it would have gone through the hole, but unfortunately, I believe it was Massey covering second. Actually, I can just check right here though. Oh no, I can't. Never mind. No, wait. Yes, I can. Yeah, it was Massey. Massey, the second baseman, he was kind of in between second and first, and on the dirt covering because there was a runner on first and second, and but luckily Julio was able to leg out the infield single, and that was exciting. That kept the rally going before JP had a hit that ended up scoring some runs. No, actually, JP did not have a hit. That's wrong because that's the opposite. I mean, Suarez had the 2 RBI single, and that Suarez 2 RBI single was in the bottom of the fourth. In terms of hits, though, the Mariners had 16 hits today. I did not mention that, but I think that's really, really exciting and like a great development. I mean, this offense has just continued to be on absolute fire. I noticed this thing. I've never MLB is always adding new things, and I haven't noticed this before. But if you're able to go right here, then they have this bench availability thing. And it kind of just tells you
before infrastructure funding and ESG reshaped private equity investing
in the last 10 days, and they
industry-leading advisors
included
understood
lineup, but
how
the
these
lineup's
market
kind
forces
of like
could put our clients at the forefront.
interesting. Like it's not
Get
actually
ready
like
to change
the
your game.
lineup that the Mariners submit. It's kind of just like one that they randomly select or that they think would be best. But if we go right here, it says Mariners OPS during last 10 games. So right here we have Caballero like with a over 1,000 OPS, Canzone 842, Crawford 742, Mike Ford 715, Ty France 827, Teoscar Hernandez 1,000, 1,100, Cade Marlowe 428, Dylan Moore 915, O'Keefe 495, Raleigh 845, Julio 1148, Rojas 1020, and then Suarez 795. So that is in this group of hitters in this group of 14 or 13 hitters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those 14 hitters have been above league average during their last 10 games. And 4 of those guys are 1-dotting right now over the last 10 games. Rojas, Caballero, Julio, and Teo, and then Dylan Moore with a 915 OPS. Like I said, Cal Raleigh and Canzone, pretty near identical production. But O'Keefe and Marlowe have been struggling, but Cade Marlowe's still been putting it together what I would consider pretty solid at bats. So I think that he'll start to. I don't think that him hitting. I think that he's just kind of slumping right now. As for Ford, I think O'Keefe will probably be DFA'd or sent back to AAA when Murphy is reactivated from the injured list, and he is supposed to start baseball activities again next week, and as well as Kelnick, who is going to start his rehab assignment at AAA Tacoma next week, and he'll be another hitter that we can add to this. So what we could expect is that in the next couple of weeks, Mike Ford's spot will probably be taken by Kelnick, and then Brian O'Keefe, Tom Murphy will obviously be called up. I think that the organization, I know that Mike Ford has been performing better than Marlowe recently, and Marlowe does have options, but I believe that they want to keep Marlowe on the roster just because they kind of value his outfield defense, particularly come playoff time. I think that they would value his outfield defense even more than Ford's, maybe better bat. Mike Ford's also just very, very inconsistent with with his bat. We don't know like how legit that hot streak was that he had. Um, and I say hot streak because I really think it was a hot streak. I don't think I don't think that was sustainable performance, and I'm at this point I'm not convinced that him being consistently above league average as a hitter in general is sustainable. Um, but yeah, that's just my rationale. But it's really, really exciting because it's starting to look like a group of hitters where I really trust that like a lot of these hitters can make something happen, and it's just like it feels like everybody has something to contribute on the roster right now, and like there's not or everybody there will be a place for everybody to contribute on the roster, and like everybody really, really belongs on this roster, and like it's the best combination of players available in the organization. So that's something that's really, really exciting, that the Mariners could be having a 13 position players, and actually it will be expanded to 14 come September 1st. So there could be another hitter. In just a couple of days, the roster will expand to 28. So the Mariners are going to be allowed one more pitcher and one more hitter, compared to the 26-man roster that they have right now. So they actually will have another hitter, and we could actually end up seeing Mike Ford, stay on the bench. He has definitely hit some clutch home runs. We know that, and he's had some clutch moments. So it makes sense that they could, potentially want to leave his lefty power on the bench. It still could be an impact bat. Like I said, I think that it's no question that O'Keefe will be optioned back to AAA, but I think there's a potential argument for leaving Ford on the roster, and especially when I know that people have been saying how much he's been struggling recently, but I mean 715 OPS in his last 10 games, it's not actually like awful. Um, France has been hitting a lot better as well recently. He was 1 for 4 today, but I just have been a lot more. I think that a lot more of his plate appearances recently have been a lot more promising, and like I think I don't know, he just looks like he's. It looks like Ty France is in a position where he feels like he personally is like able to do his best, like he's healthy basically. I know that there's like always injury concerns with him, and there's always been talks about is like or it's been like obvious at times that he might be playing through an injury, but it really, really feels like Ty France is healthy right now, and able to. I think that he's able to contribute the most. I think that he's able to contribute like the most right now. That's possible for him. Um, he's not being limited by injuries or anything like that, which is an exciting thing. And then there was one more thing that I wanted to discuss right here. I wanted to discuss who pitched tonight. Just for right here. So Bryce Miller went 4 innings pitched, giving up 6 hits, 3 runs. All 3 of those runs were earned, 1 strikeout, and then 6 Ks. He had 2 Ks against Houston and then 2 strikeouts in the start before. So just 4 strikeouts in the last 2 starts. But then he had 2 strikeouts in the first inning and ended up with 6 and 4. Campbell pitched a scoreless inning. He ended up getting the win with 1 strikeout. Gabe Spire looked absolutely disgusting tonight. The slider looked unhittable. Sinker had good movement to it too, but the slider was just filthy tonight. Just like an electric slider. Brash, 2 innings or 2/3 of an innings pitched, giving up 3 hits, 2 runs. He gave up the home run to Kyle Isbell. And then Saucedo pitched a third of an inning. Luckily, he'll be fresh for tomorrow. Topa pitched an inning. Munoz pitched an inning. Munoz got the save, like I said. He gave up those 2 hits, or that 1 hit and those 2 walks, and then he had a strikeout to end the game. It was a filthy, filthy 98-mile-an-hour slider to Freddie Furman. Or not slider, I mean sinker, that, ran in on his hands. Really, really good arm side movement. But also Canzone had an outfield assist today. And the team went 5 for 15 with runners in scoring position. So the team batting .333 with runners in scoring position is something that I personally won't complain about. I think that that's like a reasonable number. I mean, I know that people get frustrated with the runner in scoring position numbers this season, but I think that 33. I think that like a 33% chance that you're going to score a runner in scoring position is really, really good. So yeah, that's about it for today's episode. Though this is just such an exciting time to be a Mariners fan. I'm so excited to watch the rest of the season and let the rest of the season play out. And I can't wait to make more podcasts and more content about it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Go Mariners. Have a great night.